This is the FM Gold channel of All India Radio. In the program Spotlight, now we bring you a discussion on 9 mantras of Prime Minister against COVID-19. The participants are Ashok Tandon, political analyst, and Vinay Kumar, journalist.
In his address over television to the nation on Thursday night, Prime Minister Narendra Modi called for social distancing, people's curfew, to contain and control the spread of COVID-19, the deadly virus which has taken nearly 9,500 to 10,000 lives all over the globe. Amid alarm bells ringing loud and clear across the globe, Prime Minister delivered some cautionary notes and also gave much-needed assurances to the people of India. Tandon Sahab, these were the two major highlights of Prime Minister Modi's nearly half an hour address to the nation. Assurances also came, then he painted a very realistic picture that COVID-19 can happen to anyone and the only way we can defeat it is to remain alert, vigilant at all the times and adhere to the advisories and instructions being issued by the government and Ministry of Health from time to time, including health and hygiene, total upkeep around your environments and keeping yourself at home. It was in this context that he proposed that on March 22nd, we should have a Janata curfew from 7 in the morning till 9 in the night to break this deadly chain.
One thing is that before Prime Minister's broadcast to the nation, all sorts of rumors started spreading that he is going to impose a lockdown all over the country. So the government had to clarify that there is no such thing coming, and therefore when the Prime Minister in fact started his broadcast to the nation, the fear was comparatively less as compared with the rumors which were being spread. And another thing, before we come to the key points of his address, that it has been welcomed by all segments of the society, and especially the media has appreciated it. Media is now spreading this message that people should adhere to whatever the Prime Minister has appealed. Even opposition parties have also supported the Prime Minister's call. So I think this move has come at the right time and it is in the right direction. And we do hope that the entire country will comply with that. And we have seen on social media many people are spreading this message that we should follow this and make it a success for our own safety. Now, 5 key points which the Prime Minister highlighted in his address. He said it's a global crisis and he compared it with World War I and World War II. And then he says, unfortunately, science has not been able to find a solution to this coronavirus and no vaccine has been developed. So therefore, he initially in the beginning highlighted the seriousness of it. Without making the people panicky, he convinced the people that it is a very serious problem and we have to deal with it. We don't have to panic. And therefore, he came to the point of cooperation from the people. And he said that I am calling upon all citizens of the country. The situation in India is not normal. And that thinking that this virus will not impact India is wrong. That was the caution which the Prime Minister gave, and he reminded the nation that the outbreak has had grave consequences even in the developed countries, because we are getting news from all over the world. So therefore, we cannot think that we are going to remain insulated from it. So having created seriousness of this problem, then he said, I want 2 things, the entire country. First, that our approach is resolve and restraint. We should not panic. Resolve is to fight the coronavirus and restraint is not to get panicky about it. So these 2 emphases he made, and then he asked people to protect themselves from being infected and infecting others by avoiding crowded places and not leaving their respective homes. Now this was the build-up which the Prime Minister did before coming to the proposal he made. And the proposal was that on 22nd March, that happens to be Sunday, there is a call for a Janata curfew. It is not imposed by the government. It is a self-imposed curfew. As you also very rightly said, will begin at 7 a.m. in the morning and will go on till 9 p.m. This is a voluntary curfew. That's why he named it as a Janata curfew. It is self-restrained, self-imposed, and as I said, reaction which has come from all over the country is that people are willing to follow it, and we do hope that it will be a great success and will go a long way in containing this virus.
In fact, all segments of the society, including traders, bodies, even common people have welcomed this step. And then the Prime Minister also outlined 9 steps to deal with this pandemic. Number 1, be vigilant, stay at home. Number 3 was his proposal for Janata Curfew, as you elaborated. Then a gratitude clap for all those who are working for us, the doctors. In fact, he included media persons also, emergency services, police, firemen, airport, healthcare workers. And put off your routine checks. Don't go to hospital just like that. And don't cut wages of your household helps and support staff because they may need to take leave, but pay them for the full month. His announcement for setting up a task force, because this is also very, very important. Given the implications of outbreak of this pandemic, several sectors and segments of the economy, not only in India, but worldwide, have got badly impacted and affected by this. So this task force will be headed by Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, and it will look into the economic reconstruction after this pandemic has subsided. As you rightly pointed out, don't panic and don't believe, don't spread rumors. That was Prime Minister's advice. So these 9 points were guiding lights of Prime Minister's address.
Appeal to the state governments and the local bodies, panchayats, all of them to see the seriousness of this, gravity of this
threat posed by
and also cooperate. So we do hope when he talks to the Chief Minister's video conference, response should be positive, and there is no reason why states should not be supporting it, irrespective of the fact who rules the state, because it's a question of life and death for the people of this country. So in that context, the appeal has gone down right to the panchayat level, village level, and we do hope that it will be success. And a couple of other things which the Prime Minister said was that the healthcare bodies should not be overburdened. People should not be rushing to hospitals unnecessarily, overload the healthcare system, and for routine checks they should not go. Even he appealed that the surgeries which can be postponed, people should postpone them for a couple of months. If you want to consult a doctor, try to do it over phone or your family doctor. And that some of the precautions which he suggested, particularly to senior citizens to stay indoor, and all these things are having an impact. And the way we are watching the television channels, the media is cooperating, and we are moving in that direction. When we reach Sunday, we will see a very effective Janata Curfew taking place. About the financial aspects, we have already mentioned. He has reassured all segments of the society which are being impacted adversely by this coronavirus. The government will take due cognizance of their hardships, and that's why the task force which he has set up on the Economic Response Task Force, it will assess the adverse impact on finances of the country and watch over the implementation of the economic resolutions of the government. But another assurance which the Prime Minister gave was that there is no need to do panic buying, because there is no scarcity of essential commodities like food, milk, medicine and all other essential commodities. Our supplies are in huge quantity available. People should not hoard essential quantity and not resort to panic buying, which unfortunately we see was happening before the Prime Minister's address, as if there is going to be a full lockdown.
For the past couple of days, if you see people who were usually buying 1 or 2 kgs of their pulses or milk powders or rice or wheat, they were indulging in panic buying of, double or triple the quantity which they actually need. So this was also a reassurance not only by the top leadership of the country, but even the Consumer Affairs Ministry has also put out huge ads this morning in the newspapers that there is no need for hoarding these essential commodities. The country is well stocked and will be able to tackle this pandemic if we pool in our resources together.
Yes, about the gratitude towards professionals at the front line of the outbreak, I think it has sent a very positive message, because hundreds and thousands of people across the country are engaged in this kind of a job, which is paramedics, doctors and other staffs. And he very rightly suggested that we need to acknowledge their services. In fact, battling the outbreak, and for the last 2 months, millions of people are working day and night in hospital and at airports, and in view of their hard work, the Prime Minister has requested everybody, all citizens in the country, to assemble in front of their own front door, window, balconies, and keep clapping for 5 minutes to salute and encourage the professionals of the country. And he also requested the state and local authorities to blow the siren at 5 p.m. on 22nd March to remind the people that they have a duty to perform, and their duty performance will be a tribute, a salute to those who have been working, because they are also from the society. Practically every household may be having one member at least who is engaged either at the airport duty or in hospital duty or even the sanitation duty. So I think it will be the fitness of thing that we all countrymen should listen to the Prime Minister's request and observe Janata Curfew, and also at 5 p.m. on 22nd March applaud those who are the professionals working at the front line to combat coronavirus.
Some very natural query comes to mind that 22nd March, if this experiment, as you said, all likelihood it will be a huge success. People have all welcomed it and they'll abide by the instructions given by Prime Minister in his address and these points highlighted by him. But is it, since the situation is evolving on a day-to-day basis, even Health Ministry and External Affairs Ministry, who are coordinating with all other, relevant ministries to, pull in their efforts to fight this pandemic, can there be a step forward of making this kind of Janata Curfew or voluntary step of staying at home in the next week or 10 days? Can it be repeated? If we see, India has so far, been able to contain the spread, it's to a large extent.
First thing we need to understand is that India is still at the initial period, though it is critical. And if we can contain this and do not allow it to become a community transition, then what will happen is, suppose if somebody has gone to bed at 11 in the night on 21st, till 7 in the morning, he would have already isolated himself at least for 9 hours. And further from 7 a.m. till 9 p.m., another 14 hours. So put together, if all of us insulate us from any object we are going to touch tomorrow, that means the virus has a shelf life of not more than 9 hours. In those 9 hours, whichever object, railing or place has been affected adversely by the virus would have died. So we could insulate ourselves as well as kill the virus in all the objects around the country. So this isolation, minimum of 12 hours, is going to kill the coronavirus everywhere in the country. And if because of the curb on the flights, incoming flights, at least for 1 week, that means there would be no fresh arrivals into the country. So we have insulated all the coronavirus affected objects within the country, also not allowed carriers coming into India. So that can be a real breakthrough. And if we can achieve it, and if we success, there is no reason why we can repeat it. And because there will be no fresh arrival of people coming into India who may be carriers, I think by the end of April, India can control the entire coronavirus episode. That is exactly seems to be the strategy. And what the government needs is cooperation from the people.
That is why the Prime Minister very rightly said that, named it as Janata Curfew, a curfew, voluntary step by the people to decide to stay indoors. One silver lining has been turned up that from China, no fresh case has been reported from the epicenter of Wuhan and the province. There is no fresh case. So the experience shows that it can be contained effectively. China was the origin of COVID-19.
Singapore has contained it and Japan is trying to contain it, and I think India is in a position to contain it if there is a cooperation from the people. And that's why, as a first step, the Janata Curfew will go a long way in insulating the entire country from coronavirus. And I think it is in the larger interest of the society, for the health of our future generations. There is no reason why we, the people of India, should not be cooperating in this venture.
Let's hope, Tandon Sahab, that March 22nd turns out to be a success, and with all our efforts put together, as Prime Minister rightly said, we will be able to defeat this pandemic. We will be able to very effectively contain and control it in the days and weeks to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You were listening to a discussion on 9 mantras of Prime Minister against COVID-19. The participants were Ashok Tandon, political analyst, and Vinay Kumar, journalist. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. This program is also available on our website, newsonair.com. You can also follow us on the News on AIR app for updates. You may email your opinion about the program at airnsdtalks@gmail.com.